let's talk a little bit about patient calls and kind of interacting with patients over the phone. This is a very important part of what we do, from scheduling to solving issues. But our interaction with patients on the phone is very, very important. So what happens when you get like on the phone? You're calling, I don't know, like make an appointment or do something else. For me, it's usually not great. I'm worried I'm going to be left on hold. I'm not going to get to the right person I need to talk to. I'm not going to get my question answered. I hate it. I hate talking to people on the phone. It drives me nuts because it's always such a bad experience. Our goal is, we really want to make, that interaction or any interaction with the patient, positive and helpful for the patient, but particularly on the phone, just because like everyone knows it just sucks so much. It's important for you to be, helpful and welcoming to any patient on the phone. Remember, this is a person that has decided to come to our practice for physical therapy. They're trusting us, and customer service is an enormous part of what we do. So they always used to say, I can't remember who it was, the company, but they had a customer service phone, like a line, and what they would do is they would put a mirror up, in front of all the customer service people, just a small one, and they needed to see their smile in the mirror before they talked to anyone on the phone. There's good research out there that if you're smiling, it's harder to be in a good mood. Harder to be in a bad mood. So keep that in mind. Like when you're talking to patients, you want to know how they're doing, and you want to help them. You're doing something. You're on the phone with you to help them out with something. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on the phone with you. So your job on that phone call is to help that patient out, and when they leave, they're happy that they talked to you. Okay, it's not always going to happen, but that's your goal. That's what you're shooting for. So common things that people call for on the phone, obviously, are cancellation of appointments. So that's a really big one for us. Okay, so as far as talking to someone who's canceling an appointment, there's a lot of common mistakes that are made. When I kind of hear people or listen to people, that are talking to patients who have canceled. So one thing that really comes up a lot, like, I can't make my appointment today, and just naturally we're nice people, and but what you say to patients matters, and I hear people say, oh, that's okay, and that one drives me nuts. That's not okay. Okay, we've reserved that time for that patient. We've talked about how our schedule is so important. Cancellations are not okay, but it's a normal human reaction to kind of say that. But when you say that to a patient, what you're doing is saying, like, it's okay to cancel today, and then it's okay to cancel any time from now on. Okay, you're setting that precedent by saying that. So those words should never come out of your mouth when you're talking to a patient who is canceling an appointment. Now things come up, but we never just want to say like, oh, it's okay. All right. When someone comes in, when someone calls in to cancel, it's very important, obviously, that we get them rescheduled. Okay, there's a couple of reasons for this. First of all, we have a specific plan of care set for them. Okay, any deviation from that plan is going to slow down their progress, and that's our goal with everybody, is to get everyone back to 100%. Doing everything that they need to do, but any if I had 3 appointments scheduled this week and they only come to one, they're not going to progress the way that they should be. That's an important concept, an important thing to understand, and the patient needs to know that. Well, we've talked with them about it, during the initial evaluation, but they need reminders of that. So things that you want to think about saying, hey, I cannot make my appointment today. What you want to do is say, oh, wow, I'm sorry that you can't make your appointment today. Like, why can't you make your appointment today? It's important to find that out. Obviously, we have to record that and put it in there and then decide, whether we're going to enforce our cancellation fee. So they may tell you about that. Now, at this time, if they tell you something bad has happened, then be a person, okay? Say, hey, I'm really sorry that happened. I'm sorry that, someone was sick, or like you got in an accident or something like that. Like, wow, I'm really sorry to hear that. And then we have to transition towards getting them back in the schedule. That's very, very important. So if someone were to call and cancel and said, hey, my car broke down and I can't make it, I'm on the side of the road, like, hey, I'm really sorry. Like, that sucks. That happened to me before. Like, I know that's trouble. Well, listen, I don't want you to kind of, miss, this appointment this week. We want to keep you on your plan of care. So when can you come in this week and reschedule that appointment? Okay, and then don't say anything. All right. Again, you just want to ask them things that are going to force them to do what you want them to do. So it's not like, hey, can you come in this week? If you give anybody that you're talking to, you crack that door a little bit, they're gonna open it wide. Okay, so it's really, really important when you say like, can you come in this week? If there's a possibility, they can say no. Let there be a possibility. Like, don't let them, don't lead them to that. Talk to them and say, I want to get you rescheduled this week. What day works for you? Okay, or hey, I've got appointment times later today. Like, I can get you in. I want to keep you on track for this appointment. Okay, and then you'll wait to hear from them and then respond appropriately. Like we've talked about before. I've got a 2 o'clock on Tuesday. Can you make that appointment? Just direct them in an area where they're going to reschedule this appointment. You're going to have to, they're going to have to say, no, I will not reschedule this appointment in order for you to stop this. You're just going to give them time until they get back into the schedule. And again, it's really focused on completing their plan of care. That's so important. So they really have to stay on top of that. Now, if you get a patient that it can't reschedule, within the week, and they can't get in, then what you want to tell them, well, if it's less than 24 hours, you have to tell them, well, we have our cancellation policy that we went over in initial evaluation. Listen, I don't want to have to charge you this cancellation fee. So, is there any time you can get in this week so that I don't have to do that? You really want to be presenting it as you're doing them a favor, and you're getting them back on their course of treatment. But you want to tell them hey, I don't want to enforce this cancellation policy, which we don't. We want all of our patients to come in and schedule in. That's why we have the policy in place. But we want them coming into their appointments and being consistent with treatment. So it's so very important that you let them know that if you do not come in for your appointment today, I'm going to have to charge you that cancellation because it's less than 24 hours before your appointment. So that's something that's really, really important. You let them know that, and that's probably going to nudge them to make that appointment. There's a time that they can come in. Trust me, okay? It may not be convenient for them or not work into their schedule, but there is a time that patient can come in and make up that appointment, either later in the day or later that week, okay? And you're going to work hard to get them in that spot. You're their advocate. You're going to help them. I'm going to find a spot for you. If it doesn't fit in the schedule, hey, let me talk to the therapist and see if I can squeeze you in. You're not getting off the phone with them until you reschedule their appointment. Another really important thing, if they cancel and they cannot make it up, you have to check the patient's schedule and find out if they have more appointments, okay? And then remind them of that appointment. All right, can't get in this week. Hey, I've got you down on Monday at 9 o'clock. Next week, we'll see you then, and then I'll collect the cancellation fee at that time. So you want to make sure you have it. If they do not have another appointment in the schedule, it's very challenging to contact a person and get them back in. You have an opportunity with them on the phone right now to get them in the schedule. They have to continue their care. If they don't, they have a tendency to kind of fall off, maybe for a week or 10 days. As soon as you're getting to that point, all the work that we've done up to that point is really starting to regress, and then they're not going to recover the way that they should. So we've really got to get them back in the schedule. So whenever you're on the phone with any patient who's calling, you're always checking to see when their upcoming appointment is, and then reminding them of that and helping them remember. All right, we'll see you in at this time, John. Just let them know about that. And one more kind of area we'll talk about is getting patients to move an appointment. So a lot of times, things come up in the schedule, whether we have a therapist is out, or we're trying to move a patient kind of up or down to condense the treatment schedule to fit a meeting in, or to fit in time to work on notes. We're trying to condense that schedule and get it to where it needs to be. So there'll be times where you'll call up a patient and ask them about moving their appointment. Okay. This is really important. Obviously, if we're calling to ask them to move their appointment, we want to have success in that. But we are asking them to change their schedule around a little bit. We're kind of asking for a favor from them. So phrasing with that is really important. You really want to kind of think about what you're saying and how you want to do it. So if you call up a patient and you say something like, hey, I was wondering, can you come in a little bit later or a little bit earlier? You're trying to move them around a little bit. If you leave that door open just a little bit, they're like, well, no, okay? No, I have my appointment at that time, and it is okay for them to do that. We've scheduled them at that time. But, there's ways to phrase it where you can have better success, okay? So, first of all, you want to, phrase it to them, not that, what someone might think is like, oh, well, they just, they don't want to get out early or something like that. We don't want to discuss that type of stuff with patients. We're moving them for a reason. Okay, like we're trying to be more efficient with our schedule and have time to do things in there. But you really want to kind of work with them and guide them where you want to go. So things you want to do, you want to present it, like you're kind of helping the patient out, okay? And the patient, you probably kind of know their schedule and everything, but you should be like, hey, you know what, John? We had some cancellations today. I can get you early. I can get you in earlier today, or so you want to kind of like start with that. Like I want to kind of help you out with your day a little bit, even though it may or may not, and you give them a specific time. Can you come in at 2 o'clock? Okay. We had some change in the schedule. Another thing you can do is tell them, like things to move the schedule. Hey, you know what, John? Like, Kelly's out today. I'm sorry, she had an illness in the family, and she could not come into work today. I'm really sorry. Like, is it possible for you to come in at 1 o'clock today instead? I have another therapist in here that will treat you, and I'm just wondering if you can, if it's possible for you to move your appointment. And for other reasons that people are out, you don't want to say like, oh, well, I'm trying to make my schedule better, so can you move yours? That's not how you want to present it. And then when they do that, you want to say thank you. Say, hey, I really appreciate you, moving that appointment. And we're gonna, and I really appreciate you moving that appointment. And just thank them for doing that. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm thinking about different scenarios, but just in general, think about it like that. We're trying to encourage people to do things. Give them a specific time that you want them to come in, and and get them in that spot, and just let them say whether they can or they can't. If they can't move, we're going to keep that appointment unless there's some sort of problem, like we don't have a therapist there. But being nice to patients and building that rapport with them is going to help you kind of get you to where they need to be in the schedule. So it's just a little discussion on talking with patients and how to get them in the schedule, like where you need to get them, and we'll be continuing to discuss all this stuff in further depth.